Good morning, good day, and good evening to our recruitment partners and students and friends from around the world. Welcome to another session of ApplyBoard Live. Today's theme is on the essentials of the application process, and we are delighted to be joined by the University of Manitoba. With me today, I have Carrie, our lead student recruitment officer at the University of Manitoba, and Ellen from University of Manitoba's graduate program recruitment, specifically for the Asper School of Business. Do you guys want to say a quick hello before we launch into questions?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you guys today.
All right, so we don't have a ton of time, but we have a lot of questions and tips to be sharing at today's session. So let's start with undergraduate so we can stay organized. And Carrie, why don't you give us a brief introduction about Manitoba, where you're located, and then we'll go into some application-related questions.
Sure. Thanks, Diana. We are located in the heart of Canada. So the city of Winnipeg is the capital city of Manitoba. We're in the south central region. We're about a 2-hour flight from Vancouver, about a 2-hour flight to Toronto. We're very accessible in some major hub cities, and just a 2-hour car ride to the US border as well. Very excited to talk a little bit about the undergraduate application at the University of Manitoba. We have over 100 different programs for you to choose from, so lots of flexibility, and now is the time to be exploring. If you're not already, this is a good time to be meeting with your ApplyBoard representatives, to be joining our open house events, and taking advantage of really exploring and understanding, which programs might be the best fit for you, and chatting with us and chatting with your reps to find out the best fit for you. Applications are now open for fall 2022. We accept both high school applicants to the University of Manitoba as well as transfer students. So for those of you who have already applied from high school or graduating this year, this is an exciting time for you. We certainly welcome you to apply via the direct entry route. And for anyone who maybe is doing some post-secondary at another institution around the world, at a recognized institution, you can also apply for admission to the University of Manitoba, and we will assess you for transfer credits to the University of Manitoba.
Thanks, Carrie. It's nice to know about the flexible options for students coming in at different junctures. So let's get into a question that I love asking, which is, what are some common mistakes that students can avoid when submitting an application to University of Manitoba?
Great question. I would say one of the most common mistakes is actually waiting to the last minute. The sooner you get the exploration phase through, and the sooner you get your application submitted and paid, the sooner we can do a little bit of a preliminary review on your application. So when you're applying through ApplyBoard and getting your application in that platform, you're getting in as many documents that you have complete at that point of application. That will allow us to do a preliminary review, check to see that your educational background is lining up with the programs that you're in fact applying to. We want to make sure that you're successful in that application process, and part of that success actually starts with getting that application submitted. Probably one of the worst things that might happen is technical difficulties on the 11th hour of the deadline, so waiting too long.
Thanks, Carrie. And in terms of the programs, you mentioned that there are, hundreds to choose from. Which are the more competitive ones, and how can I ensure, if I was a student, that I'm submitting an application that can be competitive for those kind of more high volume apps that you'd be seeing on your end?
Absolutely. We certainly have some open programs. So those programs, if you meet the requirements for a program like arts, science, environment, University One, for example, you can rest assured that you'll be admitted into that particular program, whereas some have only select seats available. So for example, engineering, the Asper School of Business, kinesiology. So what we want to encourage students to do is really work hard, strive to get the highest academic averages that you can, because we are exclusively looking at your senior level grades at the University of Manitoba to get you admission into your program of choice.
Wonderful. And Carrie, you mentioned the U1. I think that's another great example of understanding of different student needs and being flexible. Do you mind expanding a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. University One is a unique program to the University of Manitoba. It's our most popular first year program. It offers some flexibility in your first year. So we understand that students want to go to university, but they don't know exactly what they want to do. Maybe you're choosing between a couple of different program options, and University One allows you that flexibility in your first year to take some courses in different areas. So there's really a path for everyone at the University of Manitoba. You can take a really focused approach to the first year courses in your program area, and you can sample and dabble in different areas. It also features lower admission requirements than some of our other programs that offer the direct entry route.
Wonderful. And on speaking of kind of admission requirements, what are your general English language proficiency requirements, and do they differ from program to program?
Good question. Our undergraduate programs require English language proficiency test for those students coming from a non-English speaking country. Some waivers may qualify depending on which curriculum you're completing. For example, if you're doing A-level English, then your English language would be waived. But we are looking for an example of a 6.5 IELTS with no less than a 6 or an 86 TOEFL for the University of Manitoba. And right now we're not accepting the Duolingo.
Got it. And Carrie, if students meet your admission requirements but don't make that 6.5 IELTS, what are some viable options for them if they really want to study at University of Manitoba?
Absolutely. We have an English language center here at the University of Manitoba. Amazing professors right here on campus who are helping develop those academic English skills. So we want to make sure that you're successful once you begin those academic programs. And through our English Language Center, let's say if you came in and you presented an IELTS of a 5.5, for example, you would be placed in the 5th and highest level of our English Language Center. So you would need to complete one term, for example, in the English Language Center. And we do offer conditional admission to a number of our programs as well through the English Language Center.
Great to know. Thank you so much, Carrie. Anything else you want to highlight with respect to the application process for undergrad before we shift over to postgrad?
I guess I would just say, just reiterating that, not waiting to the last minute, because there's a potential that we can do a preliminary review and actually offer conditional admission depending on where you're at in your academic background and what program you're applying to. So it really does help you to apply early in the process and not wait too late. So make sure that, you pay attention to the programs that you're interested in studying, pay attention to those deadlines, and really opt to get that application in through your ApplyBoard rep before the application deadline.
Thanks so much, Carrie. And now let's go over to Ellen, who is joining us from the Asper Professional Business School programs. Ellen, since we're new to these programs on our platform, can you give us a little bit of information about the MBA, the Masters of Finance, as well as the Master of Supply Chain Management?
Yes, thanks, Dana. Yes, we have 3 professional programs from Asper School of Business, University of Manitoba. MBA is well, everybody knows MBA. It's our MBA program started in 1968, which is very a very old program. We have 12 concentrations in business administration, and and for Master of Finance program, this is we run it in the 4th year of Master of Finance. This is basically it's focused on the student who pursuing the CFA destination. So after this program, students are will be very easy to pass the level 2 exam of the CFA accreditation. And for the Master of Supply Chain Management program, this is the new program we just launched this year. And because Winnipeg is the center, like Carrie said, we're the center of North America, and we're the transport center. We have a lot of transport companies in Manitoba. So this program fits the needs for those companies, like they do need a lot of professional people to join them. So we offer this program for the Master of Supply Chain Management, and we have like a practical, like we offer the 4 months of practical component in the industry. So student will have real world experience after they complete the Master of Supply Chain Management program. So those are 3 programs that Asper School is offering right now. Yeah.
Great, thanks so much, Ellen. When it comes to the application and admission process, of course, can you tell us a little bit about how much you weigh kind of experience, perhaps in the job industry, before applying for these master's level programs?
Yeah, it varies between the 3 programs. We only need minimum 2 years of work experience for the MBA program. This 2 years, you can we count the part-time job or internship, or you can accumulate different type of job, but the minimum 2 years. For Master of Finance and Master of Supply Chain Management, we do not require the work experience from student. Yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful to know. And in terms of the admissions, are you on a rolling basis? Is it kind of similar to the undergrad level? Can you tell us a little bit about the timing of your admission decisions?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, we are on the rolling basis. So anytime you want to apply, anytime you feel you're ready to apply, please feel free to apply. So our admission team is working on checking the applicants like all year. As for some requirements for different program, for MBA program, we do require a little bit higher English language requirement. We need 7 in IELTS and 100 in TOEFL only for MBA applicants. For the MPhil and Master of Supply Chain Management, the same as undergrad, like the minimum is 6.5 in IELTS and 86 in TOEFL. Currently, we do not have a program with the English Language Center to do the pre-master program, but we're kind of in the progress of negotiating this, and we could have student, like if your English language doesn't meet the requirements, we can offer a pathway, English language pathway before they enter the program. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Ellen. And in addition to submitting, I guess, the application, is there an interview component? Is there anything else that you can point out for our viewers today that's relevant for these master's programs?
So far, we only have interview for the Master of MBA program, because we do waive the some of the GMAT for some student. But if the student needs to waive the GMAT, they need to do the interview from the university. But after January, so starting next year, all the GMAT are required. Like it's mandatory. We cannot waive it anymore. Also, I want to mention that for the application deadline, MBA, we have 2 application deadlines. So we have 2 intakes per year. One is August, one is January. The deadline is March 1st for August intake and July 1st for January intake. For the rest of 2 programs, we only have 1 intake, which is August intake, and the application deadline is March 1st for international students. Yeah, that's something I want to highlight, that my recommendation is do apply early. Because we're in a rolling basis, and don't leave the GMAT until the last minutes, because we have a lot of applicants that before the deadline they said, oh, I couldn't book the exam appointment, so on and so forth. So this is my recommendation, is do the GMAT as early as possible, and to complete the entire application before the deadline, because it is a hard deadline for university to review all the applicants. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ellen and Carrie. I know as members of the community that really speak with international students so frequently, do you have a final tip to share with our viewers today in terms of submitting a great application, but also once they are enrolled at University of Manitoba, what tip do you guys have for our students?
I actually just want to suggest, specifically at the University of Manitoba undergraduate programs, we don't necessarily require, a personal statement and extracurriculars, but I highly encourage you to stay active in the communities that you're in. We find that the more active and engaged students are at the high school level, the stronger they tend to perform in university, because they're more apt to try new things and check out opportunities that they might not normally take advantage of. So I encourage you really to keep up with those activities and explore them entirely once you get to university as well.
Great suggestion and tip as a student and in life, Carrie. Thank you. Ellen, any final tips for our viewers?
Yes, just to echo Carrie said, like for like a communication, well, for international students, I know a lot of students who join the professional programs they're willing to get a very good job in the market. So during the study, don't hesitate to do the part-time job in Canada. Then you can gain the Canadian work experience along with the study. And for professional programs, we do offer like a part-time option. You could even work full-time, and all the courses are in the evening or in the weekend, over the weekend. So it's very good, very friendly for a student who wants to work in Canada and study at the same time. So my recommendation is to go out to work. Like it's very good for you in the future, like career. We do offer like a co-op program, and that will help you get a job in Canada. So that is very good for international students to start working in Canada. Yes.
Thank you, Ellen and Carrie, for highlighting, the strength of not only your programs, but the student care that you have, especially for international students at Manitoba. Thank you for your time today on a Friday, snowy morning, as I understand, in Manitoba. And I hope to see you both again soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Bye, Ellen. Bye, Carrie. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Please stay tuned with ApplyBoard's various social media channels. We do have live sessions on most Fridays. So we look forward to sharing more from our partner institutions and wishing you all a wonderful day. Thank you.